So Alex has a quad injury. Albert Rusnak has an adductor injury, flared up from earlier in the year. Both came out of the game because of those injuries. Alex is a pretty resilient kid, but maybe 1 to 2 weeks. So maybe we'll know more as the week progresses. Albert, we took him off because he wasn't feeling good. He's also a tough kid. He's had the injury. He knows about the injury. That's a week to 2 weeks as well, but I wouldn't count any of them out for this weekend yet. But that might change later in the week.
Coach, additionally to the injuries, it seemed like that game, a lot of things kind of went wrong. Just wanted to get your take on maybe what you saw
3 things
out
went
of
wrong.
the tape review.
Yeah. First things first. So it's our job, it's my job as a coach to make sure the team is prepared to play. And obviously that didn't happen in the first minute. So we will be doing some different changes to try and rectify that. But that's, the guys know who it is that fell asleep on that play. I take that as a team goal, not just blaming the guys on the actual corner kick, but we got overloaded on the left-hand side. Yeimer didn't shift over. The team didn't shift over. He's late. Corner kick. Guys walking back to goal. Christian coming out, turning his back. Guy falling over in the penalty box trying to block shots. It was a team goal, but I'm putting that on me because the team should be prepared when the referee blows the whistle to perform, and that didn't happen. And we will work on that this week, and that won't happen again. And the 2 transition goals, there again, we talked about it in film. We watched both of the goals. Decision making, we can't micromanage players' decisions, but we certainly can tell them, give them, show them ways that they can do better. And that's what we did. We talked about vision, the choice of the pass, their recovery runs, their positioning on the field in both of those moments. And there again, I'll do a better job of making sure we're prepared for those types of situations.
How would you now assess the experiment or the attempt to try to get Georgie to interchange and play up there for your system?
Well, it didn't work. I mean, Georgie's not a number 9. I don't think Jesus is a, true number 9. He can play up there. I mean, he's played up there in his career, and he scored some goals up there. But, we miss Jordan. We miss, having a guy that, opens the field up. Georgie was, okay. My expectations were in line for his play. I mean, look, we're talking a totally different maybe outcome if he, receives that ball from Jackson. It was a great ball by Jackson. It was a good run, and he just didn't finish the play. It's a different situation if, one of the moments where we did press high up the field and we won the ball, we could have made them pay. Rothrock's couple of shots, Albert's shot in the first half. So, there were some things that we went over that were okay. But overall, the game was not a good one.
Ryan, post-game, you talked about awareness. When you looked at the film, what was lacking in the awareness of your
It's vision. It's, Jackson, I don't know if Jackson saw the guy running behind him. But on that play, when you watch the clip again, Paul Rothrock makes one run when Albert has the ball. He doesn't get it. He comes back. Their center back is right on top of Jesus. He's worried about Jesus. Paul gets himself onside, and there's a massive gap between the right back and the right center back. And if Paul sees that space and he runs in it, maybe Jackson plays the ball in behind instead of trying to dink the ball as Paul is going backwards. And it's vision, not just with the guy on the ball. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about awareness of guys aware of the space that's available to them so that they can create problems for the opponent. And so that play was just, something that just we didn't do well last game.
Vincent, the lack of familiarity with players, you playing the same 11 for a couple games. No excuses, but does that play into it though, so that I can have a familiarity with the player next to me?
Yeah, obviously it helps if guys are familiar, but Albert's been here a long time. Christian's been here. Obed's been here. Jesus is the new one. Georgie's the new one. But Paul's been here. I mean, they all know each other. They train together every day. I mean, I don't want to give everybody a free pass because I know that this team is better. I know they are. I've seen it. We just didn't. We can't have 6, 7, 8 guys not performing.
To the extent of knowing this team is better, I mean, in MLS play, both last year, this year, 1, 3, and 3 starts. Does it feel at all similar to the 1, 3, and 3 start from a year ago?
We actually talked about that in the coaches' room. Because look, last year, the challenges that we started with last year, and then remember Raul had scored some goals, and it took me a while to make that change. And Jordan came on and played as a number 9, and the team started to play better. Well, we're kind of waiting for Jordan to come back. He's going to be close. He's probably going to go on the trip. We'll have to make final determination, but he's probably going to go on the trip to Dallas, and that's going to be a big lift for the team. That's gonna help.
Other injuries, Ryan, or not injuries, but availability for Ryan Kent and Masovsky?
Yeah. Masasi still is, he pulled himself out of training today because of his back. It's still bothering him. Ryan Kent will be either today or the next day going up to Vancouver. I don't know if that process is going to be done in time for the game against Dallas. If it is, I'll take him on the trip. If he doesn't, if it takes him 3 days, he doesn't train, and maybe he comes back, and we'll save him for the home game. But that's a good sign for me. That's close.
And then on the, there was the goals that you allowed, but there were obviously some other opportunities late in that first half where it seemed like players were maybe not totally aware of the situation. There was the free kick that went over the top that Lozano ended up missing.
I'm not going to kill the kid. He still needs seasoning. Kalani's a good player, but it's a team sport.
But I guess just more broadly speaking, was that how do you sort of explain, or what was the messaging to the team about that stretch? Where they're just sort of running up and down the field for
their
5
transition
minutes.
moments were very effective. That's what it came down to, because this team, been around a long time. Whenever they go down a goal, sometimes they try and get back in the game too early. We waited from the 2nd minute to the 40th minute, played okay. Maybe the team were even. Albert normally coming in on his right foot, some chances, half chances. And then we make a couple of bad plays. The ball to Georgie on the sideline wasn't the right pass. That's not what we do. Georgie's body position, some of the simple things that we talked to him about. He's a guy that likes to go to goal, but he's facing this way. And so Yaimar is going to play him the ball this way. Whereas if he just turns half a turn, different play. So there were 2 moments that really dictated the outcome of the game.
One thing that does seem different from last season, and it seems that way, you guys have given up 11 goals. You guys are bottom 4 in goal differential. Does it feel like it has anything to do with the tactics, simplifying things, or what have you deciphered that's been the issue?
We just haven't been playing up to our potential. And I think that you can go through the 11 goals and take a look at individuals and, tactics. When you look at the tactics in a build in 3-2, it's the same with different formations. There's a lot of similarities to what we played last year to this year. We still have occupy the pockets. We still do certain things, but we just haven't been making plays.
You take a player like Jesus, who's not starting off to exactly the way that you would want or would, exactly. But going back to Dallas, how do you kind of work with him? As far as that mentality part of it, going back to play in a place that you basically kind of grew up in, but not going back.
Well, we'll talk to him as the week progresses. I mean, we needed to review everything today, but I'll start that process. It's a fair comment, Jada. I mean, I'll talk to him. I don't want him to feel any added pressure. I hope he's excited. I hope he's excited to go back and see his friends. I hope he's motivated against his former team. I mean, I'll try and work on those positives instead of, adding pressure to it.
Going
With,
back to-
Reed. Oh, I was just going to ask. Reed didn't get that much time, but what did you maybe see from him? And
That was too short of a cameo. I mean, it's good to have him back.
Going back to Nico's question, are you forced to even consider making a possible formation change?
We're not forced to. We might have to because we haven't got results. I mean, that's the bottom line. We're in a results-based business. And if things aren't working and we tried different personnel and that doesn't work, then you got to think about tactical changes.
because of the issues that you've had defensively, is there a chance to see Kim?
Yeah.
keep him?
Oh yeah. He might have come on the field at halftime, except Albert pulled up lame.
You've been able to obviously get another week or so out of seeing Ryan Kent. How excited does it get you that he could be ready soon?
Well, today's the best day for him because it's small-sided games, everything in front of big goals. He's a good dribbler. So yeah, that gets us excited.